Hello, fellow scholars. Thanks for listening to this for a few minutes. I'm Judith McFarlane. I'm at Texas Women's University, and I have worked with violence against women for 35 years. Happened in a classroom. I had a student ask me, are women abused when they're pregnant? And I said, oh yeah. Well, how do you know? Because I work at the shelter. Well, how often does it happen? I didn't know the answer, so we stopped class, went to the library. There was nothing at the library, so myself and 2 or 3 students said, we have to find some answers for people. And so that's what I've been dealing with, is violence in pregnancy, and most recently funded for a 7-year study to follow abused women and their children, to look at the healing dynamic, to look at intergenerational violence. And now we're entering year 5 of the mother-child study, and we have 95% of our women still with us. And what we've done is, I'm probably off script, but that'll be okay maybe. What we've done with methodology, it's a naturalistic study. So instead of doing an intervention, you allow women to do the intervention that they choose. And we are following women for 7 years that reach out to a shelter or reach out to the justice system for assistance for the first time, who also have a child between 18 months and 18 years. And we sequentially entered them into the study, and we are following them 21 measurement points over 7 years, asking 21 measures, asking about repeat assault, asking about self-esteem, livelihood, asking them about their mental health, depression, post-traumatic stress, somatization. Are they able to work? Do they have chronic pain? What happens to their relationship? Once they leave the abusive relationship, what is their self-esteem, the issues they deal with? If they continue in the abusive relationship, how do they negotiate their safety? Also very important, the children. How are the children doing? The children of the women that leave the abuser compared to the children of the women that do not. How are they doing in school? How are they doing in their academics? What is their mental health? Do they have depression, aggression, hostility issues? Are they under clinical care? So we're measuring these factors every 4 months for 7 years. Presently, we have just begun year 5, and we have 95% of the women with us. The women have taught us so much. There's a practical side to the research, because when I was offered the funding to do the research, it was with the stipulation that it be something practical, something that research that we could immediately translate for frontline providers and the first responders. So to do that, we have more than 40 publications now in a variety of 32 journals. But what I'd like to share with you is the practical application, what the tools are for the first responders and the primary care providers. We know now, when we can look back, we can tell what are the predictors of a woman going back to the abuser. What are the predictors of a child that's not going to do well compared to a child who is going to be more resilient? What are the predictors of a woman that is going to be more resilient versus a woman who is going to have more mental health issues such as post-traumatic stress? We can't help everyone. We don't have the resources. But if we can triage, similar to what happens in an emergency department, if you go to an emergency department with a headache, you are going to have to wait in line if they're heart attack victims ahead of you. So we want to identify the women whose safety is most in peril, whose children are at highest risk to long-term problems, so that we can intervene early. And that is what we have done. We have 5 predictor tools for sustained mental health problems. Who's most likely? Takes 3 to 5 minutes to do the predictor tool. Then we can share that information with the women and with the providers and make a plan. Most of the women do quite well, 2/3 of the women. But 1/3 of the women do not do so well. So we need to be able to identify them with a reliable and valid tool and help enable them to the resources that they need to maximize their well-being. These predictor tools have been made into apps that are available on the World Wide Web at no charge in many languages. So I certainly hope I get to see each and every one of you that are interested in these predictor tools and how we can better sustain the health the safety and the well-being of mothers and children who confront violence. Thanks for listening.